Naturally, I got cut off. I just run out of memory, but I'll just finish up the rapid rate of change or radical rate of change. Okay. I know that when Patty put a post up this morning, which basically was just a quick summary of what's happening with mass arrest, the military, the Earth Alliance, etc., etc. That if you watch some of the other videos about rate of change over vectors, these are positive changes that are taking place. You know, remember I've said it over and over again: going in the right direction, going in the right direction, going in the right direction. So one of the biggest stumbling blocks that I've observed and experienced, okay, and particularly when you know that your neurotransmitters in your heart are running full power, and you realize that you're getting communications from not just your spirit guides, but other beings that you're connected with through the vector from which information is flowing that you become aware of, that is informing you of things, right? So I realized when I was a child that when you're putting a puzzle together, if you will, that's sort of how I perceive it, because it's pretty simple information processing. You're becoming aware of the information and what the information means to you. And so information based on, if you will, the real universe that you know that your mind normally occupies and experiences, okay, then you're processing information and you're collating those things that you realize are necessary to hold in place. I call them placeholders, like using temporary RAM like you do on a calculator. Remember, memory plus, okay? So you're holding certain pieces or bits and bytes of data because you know that you're going to need to use them in the future. And then there are other bits and bytes of data that you become aware of, okay, that are out of tune, okay, which means you don't want to experience that, so get rid of that. Now, I can experience some data that I become aware of and say, okay, I'm not supposed to experience that data, but that piece of data is necessary for future use, okay? So essentially what you're doing is you're putting together their program, all their programs, actually, okay, in which other conscious units of consciousness are held captive in memory to running their programming, all their programs, pocket realities, etc., 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 right? Okay, so when you realize that as a child, the nature of the war that you're in, which first thing that I acknowledged was this is a spiritual war. You also realize it's an information processing war. Okay, the way in which the information through the use of electrons produces a waste product in which you experience the incoming. Remember, if you go back to my early videos, input, output. That becomes biofeedback, which is the result of your use of electrons. Okay? So if you're not finding a way in which to eliminate those waste products, the use of electrons, in order to maintain your battery and the frequency resonance that you normally run in order to clear a field, okay, which is running on distorted energy, if you will, or the way in which they run their programming that you ordinarily do not experience. It's like knowing the difference between the real reality, okay, that the light and living spirit with a soul with an enormous amount of fire, which means intense passion, compassion, empathy for everything that is alive and aware of itself, then you begin to realize it's like you're a tuner, okay? And so you have to maintain, if you will, on a field that is distorted to maintain your own peace, which is like being in a non-reactive state to those things that are designed to react to it, in which it's creating more waste acid that overloads the alkalizing ability to get rid of it at a rate of speed in which you're experiencing who they are instead of what you are. Okay? That's really the bottom line in all this. So if you're going to go into a spiritual war, okay, with a memory-driven programs, okay, that represent lower electrical density, plasma, if you will, okay, in which you're experiencing something that you know you're not supposed to be experiencing this, because this is not the universe that your mind, body, and spirit, your Merkaba, ordinarily would be experiencing, because we don't experience entropy, loss of energy. Okay, so that was the first clue as a child reading a newspaper. Because I'm experiencing what they're presenting, I'm losing energy. Because I'm experiencing what it is they represent, that I then experience what they're presenting to us. So this begins the nature of the bidirectional communication, right? Which is why I said before, when I was a child and they put a TV set into the room, this thing's trying to program me. Okay, it's all programming. So when you begin to realize you can program your own matter density, okay, then you can begin to realize the electrical density of the consciousness to which you normally are accustomed. Right? So that's knowing your niche, knowing your density, knowing the realm that you normally occupy, that you love to experience. Right? Because everything that represents what you are, which is energy, and the energy that you normally experience that is external to you, is in harmony. The waves are in harmony. So it's like being in heaven. So that heaven is within you, and that heaven is externally experienced. It is in harmony with itself, which means we are all in peace, all in harmony, all in love with the universe that we occupy, and we maintain the balance of that, right? So that's where we're headed, and that's pretty self-evident and obvious to me, and I hope it is to you, so that your energy goes up and begin to, how do I put it, experience higher energy, in which you realize that your state of consciousness that was held captive by something that's trying to drain your battery is going to go up, because you begin to be aware of those things that others are doing that show that they love you. They care about you. They don't want you to suffer. They're rolling out a way in which we do things that is different than the way people are accustomed, in which you don't have to suffer any pain. Loss of energy produces more stress and more anxiety, which is acid overload. You know, I remember when there was the people that keep all the statistics on the health and wellness of America, and many years ago, because I was in the data collection business, they came up and said, listen, that we got an epidemic of obesity. Well, you know, that's the acid overload. You know, put all the candy bars out, put all the ice cream out, everything that they throw at us, right? So if you're not eliminating it in a way in which it's producing healthy cells, what's the result of that, right? Look at all the data. You know, the NCBI is one source of a large database on all the genetic stuff that's going on. Then you can look at, PubMed. Go into the scientific community. And then you're always going to be faced with, because I know this, which is why I left the University of Arkansas when I could have gone into a doctorate program, is you're faced with a system where you realize you're in a shark tank. Okay? They lie, they cheat, they steal, and they fudge and fabricate things even through their own scientific stuff. Okay? In order to do what? Maintain the status quo. Okay? Well, that is never going to work for an Indian, is it? A real Indian, not a wooden Indian. So it's like exit stage left. Remember who he was? Snaggletooth? Remember who Snaggletooth was? Exit stage